Welcome to Play Ratings. Today, Lou and I will be discussing that fantastic 2-0 win over West Ham away at the London Stadium. Again, we appreciate all your support. Remember to like, subscribe, and we'll keep putting out the content. Lou, you had a game yesterday. Tell us a little bit about it.
Number one, it is the worst place to watch football. Like it is just from walking through Stratford Station to just inside the ground. I had a ticket in the upper and the lower just because there was a little mix up with the tickets. And I was standing with Bruno before the game, and I was just like, I can't watch this from up here because the players look like just ants. So I went down to my seat at the bottom, and it was just as bad. It's just awful. There's atmosphere is disjointed. There's two songs going on from the lower tier and the upper tier. West Ham fans are terrible, but when you come away with a 2-0 win and dominate, I can't complain, man. It was a great day. Two away wins in 3 days for me. Like I said, sometimes you get your loyalty rewarded, and it happened again.
Yeah. Lucky enough, last December I flew over for a couple of matches. I went to that game at the London Stadium, and you're right. But I was in lower parts, so it wasn't that bad. But I could tell when I was getting something to drink after halftime that there's a big difference between the fans in the front and the fans in the back. So you're right. It's like it's a weird stadium, and you're right. The atmosphere there is strange. I mean, yesterday just listening on TV, hardly hear the West Ham fans, which is great. So
even when we score, it's not like I know everyone wants limbs every time, but it's not even a limbs type thing. Like this, it's very disjointed. It's just like it's like the two sets of fans are seeing it in different motions, and it's not great. But I love beating West Ham, and they put out that stat that West Ham had scored 21 times against us consecutively. Not yesterday.
Exactly. let's before we get into individual ratings, which are going to be interesting. Let's go into you had sent me over some general stats, so let's put the first one up about the game. So do you want to speak about this one?
I can't really see this.
Really?
No, it's like blurry, but zoomed out.
So go ahead. The general stats.
Yeah,
so people can see, but go ahead.
As you can see, they had more possession, but
Right.
I think that possession was merely just going across the box, their own box. Kilman, Mavropanos. There was no line breaking passes really going on. I think in the first half, Kudus was getting on the ball a little bit in the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes. He's really, really hard to get the ball off. I think he's a top dribbler. But I don't know even where their 0.8 expected goals come from. As you can see, we had two big chances, scored both, I'm guessing, unless they don't count the penalty as a big chance. By looking at the stats, you could see from the expected goals we dominated in the chance area, but everything else was quite similar. But what did you think?
Yeah, I thought stat-wise we did a really good job. Well, I noticed that as far as tactically, we try to cut out their passing lanes, which is very important. It's funny. I thought they set up with very defensively. They had 8 of their 10 on-field players were defensive players. The only attacking players really they had were Kudus and Paqueta. Maybe you want to call Souček, but Souček is more of a DM. So it's really strange that he would choose to not start, let's say, Guillaume or even Solea. So I thought that was important for us. And I think that's what, that kind of shows in the stats. I think we dictated the play. Remember when I talked about in the Leicester game, how frustrated it was? I thought we'll get to them individually, but I thought the midfield two of Hughes and Kamada, who'll get a lot of praise today, I think, did a really good job of helping, and also Eze in dictating the play and helping to control the midfield. So, a lot of things were important for me.
Yeah, I thought Potter got it wrong in a sense. He set up to stop us and went in the exact same formation as we do with a team that doesn't have the personnel against a team who's on form away from home and has played the system consistently. Right. So it was tough, especially they're playing Souček as a left inside 10, which is a bit bizarre to me. But
Go to the next one that you put up here, so before we get individual. Concentration stats. So if people can't are listening to the show, We had one big chance scored. They had 0. 5-3 through balls. I think we'll speak to that.
Yeah.
Things like Mateta running through, Saar running
Mhm.
through. Penny Bosch touches. We had 17. They had 16, which is amazing. They had 16 touches in the box and not one shot on
Yeah,
goal.
I
And
think that
go ahead.
shows in how we always say stats will tell you half the story. So I like to say like the statistical eye test. So take a bit of both. Their 16 touches in our parent area were not quality touches. They were
None.
not at all. Whereas ours were much more threatening. Yeah, so that shows, it can show you something that isn't really there. But yeah, I thought we were really good in the final third. Some players could have been better. Even our wing backs. I think when we get onto the individual players, you'll see how many crosses we actually completed in the game. Wasn't very high.
So here are the shot stats. That
Yeah,
you can all definitely see. Look at that, 12-7 total, but 7 on target for Palace, none on target. What's that? The second match, right? The Newcastle game. Obviously, they had no shots on target. We had the own
yeah.
goal. So amazing that we could dominate that much. But go ahead, talk about that because you're actually there. So
Yeah, I thought we were, like I said, threatening going down the middle, the line breaking passes. I felt like we could have been more effective with our crossing. But like you said, 7 shots out of 12. That means like there's a higher quality of shot going in. Shots inside the box 6. That's good as well. We reduced them to nothing. Like literally, Dean Henderson might as well have not been in goal yesterday.
yeah, we'll get to him on his rating because I agree on that. It's a performance defensively just tremendously solid by the entire team. These are more your concentration stats. So passing, 386 passes, entries into the final third, 53. Long balls, 13 out of 48, not great. But again, when you speak to the percentages, we have 27%, 47%, and 26% as far as like the concentration.
It looks quite even there. Even their final phase and long balls were much more accurate. Their accurate passes, but like I said, it was all in the wrong areas. Our threatening positions inside their half were of much more quality, whereas theirs were very passive. They didn't penetrate our defense or our midfield very well. They relied on getting the ball out to Kudus and a bit of magic. I thought Wan-Bissaka was really good. He was probably their best player, probably why they even kept it down to 2-0. But the main thing I want to take is our crosses. 1 out of 18 completed.
Yeah, and then we'll speak to that when we get to both our wing backs. But yeah, I get that part. So
yeah.
So let's get into individual performances. So we get rid of this.
Yeah.
So we'll start with our goalkeeper, Dean Henderson. Not much to talk about, honestly. 7 from me, 6.5 from you. What I will say is this: he kept a clean sheet, and it's back-to-back clean sheets, which is brilliant. Yeah, nothing to do. Well, the stat that stands out for me for him is that he had 61% passing accuracy, but as far as saving and doing anything else, he's nothing to do. But what do you have to say about Henderson?
Yeah, literally nothing to do all day. But then we can look at that and think he didn't do anything. But at the same time, he was always an option for our defenders going back. Didn't make any big mistakes. He kept the ball ticking. I was critical in the first half of our patterns of playing out from the back. But what I realized when we scored our first goal was that's what Glasner was trying to do in the first half, but it wasn't working.
Exactly.
It wasn't working. And I always say it, when our team produces the plan that he has for us, it produces. I was worried with Richards on the ball after the Leicester game where he lost a lot of possession. And it happened the first 20 minutes where we was going out to Gahey, to Lacroix, to Richards. Now he knows teams are going to press Richards. That gives us a chance to open up space. And in the first half, we nearly got through when Richards has played that ball into Saar. He's dummied it. Mateta should have taken a touch and we was in, but he's tried to play it first time. And even Mateta's reaction, he knew that that was a big chance. So although it was frustrating, you can see our patterns of play are working, and the fact that a manager can take a weakness and turn it into a strength just shows how good of a manager he is.
Yeah. Let's go into the wing backs. Start with Daniel Munoz. 7.5 for me, 7 from you. Why don't you talk about Munoz and I'll pop up the graphic you have on him.
I watched the extended highlights, and there were some really important interceptions he made. Again, I felt Emerson and Cresswell just couldn't live with his energy. I said the right hand side would be a side we could exploit. Another very solid game. The only thing is the quality in the final third. I feel like he can get to the byline a bit more and put in some more quality crosses, but that's just me nitpicking. It's a great game. It's probably going to be one of his easiest days in the Premier League, but yeah, happy with him.
Yeah, and what I want to add is that the stats kind of are interesting. Wasn't dispossessed at all. 2 clearances, 4 recoveries, 8% passing. What I liked from him was the chance creation. Remember in the 29th minute, he's pressed the ball, he won it to Saar, and then Kamada had that shot over. He also had he also helped set up the first Mateta shot around the 10th minute. So it was very involved. And you're right, the left side, I don't know what Potter's thinking in putting, Cresswell back there as a left center back, and then I guess it was Emerson on that side. Emerson is obviously a left back / left wing back, but yesterday didn't do anything. So
especially Emerson's not known for his. I feel like Emerson's quite a luxury left back. He doesn't really want to do the nasty stuff. He wants to get on the ball and look pretty. But when someone like Munoz is there, he didn't really want any part of that.
Let's move on to the other wing back, Tyreek Mitchell. 7.5. Sorry, 7 from me, 6 from you. Why don't you go first on Ty?
So I thought Ty was flawless defensively. I would say Kudus is probably the best 1v1 dribbler in the league I've seen. Every time I watch him, every team struggles to get the ball off of him. I got this heat map up because we compared it to the Leicester one. He's much further forward today.
100%.
Much further forward.
Yeah.
And that's a real positive. The only negative, the fact that he was getting in those areas today, I think he lost the ball the most times. 20 times he lost the ball. And his crossing was really poor today. There were so many threatening positions where he didn't pick someone out or he didn't hit an area. But again, he's playing every single game. I will not have Tyreek Mitchell slander at the moment. He's doing everything for the team. I love him, and I can't wait for him to have a competition where we have a really progressive left back and someone who can shut out a game, and we have like different patterns that we can use with different player profiles.
Yeah, what I want to add is that I thought defensively he was good. You're right about Wan-Bissaka against him, but what's interesting to me yesterday was Kudus. Putting Kudus as the 9. He popped up in all areas, left side, centrally, right side. So Mitchell kind of had, at one point, he's going against AWB, next time he's going against Kudus. And I thought, defensively he did a good job. Because like you said, he did lose the ball, but he actually also won 8 duels and had 2 recoveries. So the passing stats weren't great. In fact, they were actually pretty poor. But I think defensively, being part of a clean sheet, I thought Ty did a solid job yesterday. And again, the heat map shows he was trying to get forward and give us that outlet there. So
listen, there ain't many better right backs in this league than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. For me personally, I feel like he's strong, he's quick, his tackling is ridiculous, and I feel like they was very even yesterday. I feel like he done really well. There was that press. It was Eze's job to go on to, was it Kilman on the right centre back?
Right.
And as soon as the ball was going out to Wan-Bissaka, Mitchell was out there. So yeah, I thought it was really good. In the second half, I feel like his pressing was really good. He'd done that same thing on the edge of the box again, didn't he? At the edge from the corner, where he nearly lost it just before we scored. But yeah.
Go on to us centre back. So we'll start with Chris Richards. 8 from both of us. I'll share the graphic on him there. I think you had 2, but
the heat map was really interesting.
I thought Richards had a really good game. Now, The thing about Richards is that we know what he cannot do, but what you have to give him credit for is defensive work. And yesterday he was very, 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 very good. I'll throw out the stats which are there, but a couple of other stats he had. 89% passing. He wasn't
Yeah.
dispossessed at all. Remember the last game we
No.
talked about, he was just not one dispossessed. 6 clearances, 2 interceptions, 2 recoveries. Part of a clean sheet for the third straight game. Again, I know Glasser mentioned it in the post-match presser about the thing of losing Chalaba is that Richards and Lacroix and Gahey have not played together a lot. But in the last 2 matches now, they've had clean sheets. He's been part of the last 3 because he played against Stockport. So I thought it was very solid. Again, we have to really recognize what he can do and not well focus on the negative stuff. He also had a really good clearance on a Cresswell free kick that was cleared in the box in the first half. But
very good, very
yes,
good.
You were there. Speak to you on Richards if you.
Do you know what that was? I remember you just reminded me of that clearance. That clearance was unbelievable.
It was
and he's done that
a
few times now. And this is one of the players that comes in for a lot of criticism. That's an easy target that people thought would be a massive drop off when Chalobah left, and he's taken that game against Leicester and he's just flipped it around completely. 90% pass completion, like you said. Possession lost 7 times. Last game he was the highest person in the team for possession lost.
Yeah.
Again, 2 games in a row he hasn't given a foul away. That's very underrated for a defender. And as you can see in his heat map, he's progressing. He's getting higher up the pitch. I thought his passing into the front man was much better. Like we spoke about, that ball into Sarr in the first half was identical to the ball into Sarr for the goal. So he's understanding the patterns of play. And the 2 performances, the second half of Leicester and West Ham today, I don't think I couldn't tell you a game that Chalobah was much better than those 2 games, that half and yesterday. So I thought I'm very happy with Richards.
Yeah, I am too. Next, our captain, Mark Gahey, 8 from me, 8 from you. I'll go quickly first. Just the captain's performance. There's nothing to really complain about. He was double passed twice, but he did help negate. I mentioned about Kudus, his movement from left to right to centrally. Did a great job with that. 3 interceptions, 9 recoveries, 2 out of 2 tackles. Again, part of a clean sheet. Mark Gahey was really good today, yesterday, and again the clean sheet. But again, you can speak to anything you want to add about Gahey.
Listen, I said he gives 8 out of 10 every week. He was just same Mark Gahey, not really much to say. Leads by example, doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to scream. You can see the louder ones on the pitch are Hughes and Lacroix a bit more. I love him. I'm enjoying every minute that we have left of him. And I've enjoyed watching him for the past 3 years. And we're lucky to have witnessed such a good centre-back at our club.
Totally agree. Other centre back, Max Lacroix, again, similarly, helped shut down Kudus. Both gave him 8. 82 touches, 4 clearances, 3 interceptions, 3 recoveries. Wasn't dispossessed at all, and he helped shut down Kudus. And then later on, Ings, when Ings came on. So do you want anything in? And I think I'll try and put the graphic up. I have a little problem with that, but I'll pop the graphic up.
That tackle in the first half when Kudus was through. He's just another one. What a signing! 15 million. Like we have problems sometimes with our recruitment, but when we get it right, we get it right. He's what a player. Not much to say. Another brilliant performance. Again, first one over to the crowd. He just looks like he loves playing for Palace. He just looks like he loves playing in the Premier League. He's just taken everything in his stride. Didn't really have to go up against a striker today, so it was a bit different for him. So yeah, 8 out of 10, clean sheet, no issues.
Yeah, I agree. So let's move on to our midfield pairing. Will Hughes. Both gave him an 8. I was critical of him a little bit in the last game, well, just the midfield in general. But when you go first on Will Hughes, I thought he was really, really good, brilliant yesterday.
I've got to give him an 8. When he plays to the top of his potential majority of games, and I think as a player, that's the most you can ask for. Unreal again, great on the ball, commanding. There was a bit there was a bit in the first half that I really enjoyed because I was quite low down where my seat was. Ball came in. I think someone stepped on Mitchell's foot, and they went to take a quick throw in, and he ran over. Mitchell was hobbling. And he shouted at him saying, "Stay down!" Like
Yeah.
really assertive. And I was like,
Leadership.
"Yes,
Yeah.
this is what this team needs." Yeah, how can you not love Will Hughes? He's holding a mantelpiece while Wharton's getting back. And listen, it was a flawless performance from him.
Yeah. The stats are fine, and I'll throw a couple of them out. 85% passing, 5 out of 9 ground duels. But there's something I want to point out that's not stats related, and that's his leadership, which you mentioned, and the way he and Kamada marshaled the midfield. I was so frustrated against Leicester in that. I know Jefferson Lerma was injured, so that's obviously part of what happened in the first 20 minutes. But against West Ham, I just thought that he, with a new midfield partner, again, he's had Wharton in the past, Lerma, Decore, and now Kamada. He really helped control the tempo. You mentioned before when we started about how we played the ball across the back, but that was also with Eze popping into the back to pick up the ball, and also Hughes. He did a great job. And also, a couple of times, kudos would drop. I keep mentioning that guy's name because he's such a good player. And yesterday, he did nothing. Would drop in the midfield, and then Hughes would pick him up in the midfield and negate him there. So there's so many little things that maybe people didn't see, but he really played so well yesterday. And again, with a new partner in Kamada, we'll get to in a minute. I thought he did a great job yesterday, Hughes, because without controlling the midfield, that game's a different game yesterday. It just is.
And when we talk about bravery off the ball and on the ball, he's brave. He demands the ball from the centre halves. He doesn't shy away. He was pulling out wide for an option for Richards. He was demanding it with his back to goal. As soon as it was going in, it was going back to the other centre back. It kept moving. We was moving the ball. He was pushing West Ham left to right. It kept us ticking, and that's what you want. You want players that want the ball.
Yeah, really good. Go to his midfield partner, Daichi Kamada. 7.5 on both of us. You go first, and I'll pop up the graphic on Kamada, who I thought yesterday had a really good match.
Yep, he was really good. I still heard a few moans at his 2 shots that went wide. For some reason, fans think that you have an obligation to hit the ball from 30 yards out into the top corner every single time. But yeah, he was. I feel like he played his way into the game. He kept it simple. Like I said, he kept us ticking. And I've always said about we're lacking technicians. Yesterday, you have 2 technicians in the middle of the park, and you see how you can control a game. It was probably the closest thing we had to when Hughes and Wharton were playing together. 2 really good players on the ball. Even this looked really good. The fact that we had 1 left footer and 1 right footer, so we didn't look like we were going the same way every time. I thought it was a great performance. He looked like he had a little more of a smile on his face. I really enjoyed watching him play. The fact that I think Potter knew that West Ham's team weren't like battering rams. They were a bit. I feel like Alvarez is a bit of a softer player, and Rodriguez they're not physical, quick players. So you could put a Kamada in against them. And I thought like it was a brave choice because everyone was calling for Decore, and yet again he proves why he's a top manager and why he keeps faith. And all those people online and Twitter who ridiculed him, said he's not good enough, said he's the worst player they've seen. I hope you lot feel a little bit silly now because I've seen everyone praising him. The same people that were saying he's the worst player they've ever seen in a Palace shirt. So, like I said, this guy's come from, he's Japanese. He was in the German league, the Italian league. He's now come to South London, a whole different culture. And people expect him to produce Europa League winning performances straight away. No. Now we've got a team. Now we've got some momentum. Look how different he looks. And like we said, just let these players play.
Lou, spot on. His first start since that December 5-1 loss to Arsenal. His first start as a 6 in the middle since the 2-2 draw against Wolves in early November. He's been moved around, but again, the stats will show you. I'll go over them very quickly. 91% passing. He had the 2 shots, 8 duels won. He had 4 recoveries, 3 out of 3 long balls, 100% successful dribbles. I thought he played really, really well. And again, you have to understand he was brought in as an 8, as the player as a 10, basically the Olise replacement. He moved around, but just done just try to do a job. And you're right, he's a technical player who deserves more respect from the fan base. He's gotten, I mean, yeah, he got the red card, but I mean, I know a lot of players got red cards in the past which we've forgiven. Our fan base is strange, but like I said, the fact that, you know, if you give him time, he'll do well. I thought yesterday he played so well. I mean, again, 94, 91% passing accuracy. Again, just dictate the play in the midfield. I thought he played really well yesterday. I mean, I got to give him.
Go on.
No, go ahead.
There were so many times where it wasn't just backwards and sideways either. There was when he had it in the final third.
Yes,
it was composure. Like, even I know it's a little thing. I remember there was a time where there was a short corner didn't work well, and he could have just whipped it in. He just played a lovely little reverse left foot pass back to Hughes. He looked like he was a completely different player yesterday. But this is what happens when we have momentum. I was saying in the chat, Palace haven't even hit 75% of their potential. And with SA coming in, Walton coming back, there's so many different player profiles and so many different ways we can play. The second half of the season, if we avoid big injuries and we get another player over the line, which hopefully is Juff, and we keep players fit, there's no reason why we can't push to that top 8, top 7, and go on an FA Cup run. Because I don't think any team wants to play us when we're on top form.
I agree. Want to add 2 more things. One, remember we had the discussion about maybe getting another midfielder, because obviously with Walton being out, we don't need it now because Kamada can fill that role, which is great. Also want to add one other thing. When we get to Mateta's goal, the first goal in a bit, but on the Mateta goal, it starts with Kamada and Lacroix. Kamada and Lacroix get the ball. Saw flicks it over, and then Eze will get to a brilliant ball forward to Mateta. Yeah. But Kamada's part of the build-up, so you got to give
because it was a really tough ball for him to deal with, and he sets it off to Richards.
Exactly.
People don't look at these little things in football. Like, he's got playing with his back to goal in his own third, just after half time, and it's nice and composed. Yeah, I thought it was great. I enjoyed watching him play yesterday.
I did too. Let's go on to Ismaila Sarr. 5.5 from me, 5 from you. What I'll just say is, again, he had a tough game, but I really think it was affected a lot by was it injury that he said he had?
Tight hamstring.
Was he ill? Hamstring, right? Exactly. You could tell he wasn't able to kind of get involved. 22nd minute, he had that cross that was blocked. He helped. I think he helped set that Mateta shot early. Yeah, I think that was when Munoz was part of that whole move.
Yeah.
But he got better as the game went on. But his passing stats that you can tell on the screen, 40% is not great. But again, when we needed to be involved in the game, he was. You could tell that West Ham was still worried about him. But what are your thoughts on Sarr yesterday?
Yeah. So there's 2 sides to Sarr. There's no shots on target, no shots off target, no successful dribbles, 40% pass completion, no key passes, no long balls, no ground duels won, possession lost 15 times. But the header to Eze is of the highest quality for that was the same pattern of play that nearly got him in the first half. Like I go back to earlier on in the video, and the fact that these players know exactly where to be, how Glasner wants to play, is great to watch. And although he wasn't good on the ball, off the ball, whatever, the fact he can be so good worried West Ham so much that it freed up space for other players.
Mere threat of him, exactly.
Yeah, the mere fact of him being on the pitch yesterday was allowed other players to shine, Kamada, Eze, because before the game, everyone was like, if we can get Sarr in behind, if we can get this guy in behind, we've got pace. But no, it wasn't. It was the technical ability of our midfielders that won us the game yesterday. But the threat of Sarr allowed that allowed West Ham to focus on him more, try and shut him out the game, and allowed our technical players to thrive more.
Yeah, let's move on to his number 10 partner, Eberechi Eze. 7.5 from both of us. You go first. I thought Ebe played really well yesterday. Much improved as far as overall, but go ahead.
Yeah, start of the game, he was okay. He was good on the ball. I thought he was poor in the press. There was a time where if we play a high press game, everyone has to do their job. One person messes up, it opens up everything. And that there was a moment where he's half-heartedly pressed Kilman, and Kilman just stepped by him, and then all of a sudden Mitchell's out of position, Kudus is in that hole. He learned from that, and then as the first half grew in, the flick started coming out, the Rabona cross that nearly got in. There was a moment where he brought the ball down in the middle of the box and he shimmied past 2 or 3 players. He was moving the ball a bit quicker. You know, when we said about give it and go and get it, I thought I saw a lot more of that. And then the second half, the ball to Mateta for that goal is perfectly weighted. And I feel like it's underrated. It was on his weaker foot and it was a bouncing ball. It's easy to balloon that up in the air. It's easy to scuff it. It was put perfectly in his path. I thought he had a great game. Free kick that he skied was a bit horrible.
I thought about you when he did it, by the way. About you.
Yeah. Obviously, Palace fans saw the funny side this time because it was 1-0 up and he'd already assisted. So, yeah, listen, again, another top contribution. That's 5 in a row. Talk about playing yourself into form. Back to the drawing board, a week of training, players coming back. Listen, it could be a great second half of the season for him.
Yeah, you know, as the stats show, he misplaced 2 passes. First half, he didn't misplace a pass at all. And again, just the moments, but that pass is so perfectly put in for Mateta to run onto. And you're right, with his, not his strongest foot. The weight was beautiful. And again, I just thought he really helped out. I mean, again, the midfield 2 of Kamada and Hughes are good, but it's really a midfield 4 if you add the wing backs, and a midfield 5 when you drop into a defensively with Eze. I thought he did really well yesterday. And again, the performances are getting there. And you're right. What is it? You said 5 in a row. GNA goal on assist in the last 5 matches. He's contributed in, and we're winning matches. So no, or not losing matches. Sorry if we get a draw. But no, I thought Ebbs really did well. And again, let's quickly mention it. The addition of Esse is going to help overall because now you've got another guy on the other side to help. You'll have maybe Kamada to help out Ebbs on the left side. I just think overall our depth will be better. I'm not worried about who starts, whatever, but as far as overall our play, I think Ebbs will go to another level with a technical player like Esse coming in. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to our man of the match.
The goal, the position he picked up as well. I know I keep banging on about it, but when I saw the patterns of play that weren't working, but I saw what they were trying to do, and then it finally comes off. It's the fact that he's probably told them, keep doing that. And then the fact that the players are still doing it, that means they still believe they're taking in everything he's saying. So I know it's little 100%. Things, but I really like it.
Yeah. Man of the match. 9.5 from me, 9.5 from you. Man of the match for the website. I'll go first. I thought Mateta played so well yesterday, and the first goal was so well taken. His finishing has really become his finishing is just so good. Yes, Kilman to me not a great defender, but he still did a great job of making that finish and took it early so that Fabianski couldn't really react quickly to it. But I thought yesterday he played really well. Drew the red card on Mavropanos too with the foul, the way he's drawing fouls, get him down to 10 men. Celebrations are great. His overall hold-up plays, movement, everything. I thought Mateta yesterday could have given him a 10, but really great performance by Mateta. What are your thoughts on Mateta yesterday?
Listen, Pat, we come on here all the time and we speak about how much we love Mateta. I said he's a maverick. He's in the dressing room, the character, and his game has just gone to a complete another level. I don't even understand how it's gone to this because it's not even just the goals, the left-footed passing, the ball that he puts through to Nketiah as soon as he comes on.
Right? When he
that left-footed pass, and he played the ball through for the one-on-one as well.
The shot, the one-on-one, yeah.
2 of those. The first time shot in the first half, the confidence he has. When he went through one-on-one with Kilman, I was thinking Kilman didn't have a chance. I was so confident. The fact that he goes to open up his body to look like he's going to curl it round and then I call it the Mbappe finish, the one to the near post. Unbelievable. Listen, and for some reason, he looks so much quicker when he's on the ball. It's like a powerful run. He just looks, when he's running with the ball, he looks so hard to stop. For some reason, he's unbelievable at step overs now. I don't know where
skill level's gone up
I know,
hundredfold.
it's
Yeah,
just it's the when they always talk about this team's really good, but they need a striker. Everyone's looking for that one striker. We've got him, and I
we've got
said
him.
he deserves the money. I know he's signed that we initiated his the extra
Extension,
year,
right?
but he has to
Yeah,
be given a year on top with more money. You
I
reward
agree.
these performances. I've been saying this: give him the money. That if Schlupp goes or whatever player comes off the wage bill, give half of their wages to Mateta. If it means not signing another striker, that's fine to me. That's completely fine. He needs to be loved. He needs to be the 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 face of Palace, because I think he looks like he loves it here. He loves the fans, the amount of love he gets, the song, everything. And it's funny because everyone laughed at him about when he said, "Oh, when I kick the corner flag, I want it to say boom."
Yep.
Now that boom is the loudest boom every single time. You
Yeah,
hear
I
it every
remember
single
that.
time on the TV.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Great performance by JP yesterday. Perfect. Let's move on to the subs. Focus on really just two because but Eddie and Ketia, 7 from both of us. I thought really honestly did a really good job yesterday. Again, came on as initially as a 10, ran in behind. As soon as he's on the pitch, you just mentioned it. Mateta gives him a great ball, tries to get around Fabianski. I thought it was a decent save. But then again, later on when he's playing as when Mateta comes off, he run. No, sorry, Mateta's still on. He runs in behind again, draws the penalty. And I didn't see it, maybe you did, but I heard that he actually told JP,
Mm,
but I'm not really sure about that. But I have no problem with JP taking it. JP has it to
yeah,
Nketiah, but to draw the penalty was great. I thought really good performance by Nketiah yesterday. But your thoughts on Nketiah?
yeah. We spoke last week about what do you think? How do you think he's feeling? Do you think he's down? Do you think his confidence yesterday showed he's still got the fire in him? He came
Yep,
on and he said, "Listen, we're 1-0 up. The game's a bit stretched." Remember, I said Nketiah is going to thrive in games where there's a little bit of space. When the game's really tight and the back's against the wall, he's going to struggle. William runner in behind. I thought he showed great pace because Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not slow, and
great
Mateta
point.
brought him through,
Yep,
and he got there first. Yeah, I thought it was great substitute appearance, exactly what you want. He's like I said, he's probably earned himself a few more minutes next game, like Kamada did. Kamada played well, got himself an extra 20 minutes, extra 30 minutes, plays well again, gets himself a start. This is how it works.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm so happy the fact that we can bring on these players as well.
I agree. Justin Devaney, 6.5 from both of us. I just want to add that I just like that when he comes on, he contributes, and that each appearance you're seeing more and more trust from the manager. Normally that's the
Mm-hmm.
Schlupp position who did come on later on, but I think that Devaney getting more confidence, and again, there's trust there, and I like the fact that he comes on and he can help us see out not only a win but a clean sheet. But
Mm-hmm.
nothing specifically that stands out or even a play, but I just like the fact he gets on there, he's pressing hard, he's running hard, he's harrying. The new subs
Mm-hmm.
that came on, for West Ham, not giving him time to even get back into the game. But your thoughts on Justin Devaney?
Do you know what? I'm really happy that he's the first sub that comes on. That shows how highly rated he is by Glasner. The fact that he's the first one. There's a lot of seasoned pros on that pitch. Decore could have come on. Like you said, Nketiah was there, and he's the first person on the pitch. Do you know why? Because he knows exactly what he's going to get from that player.
Exactly.
Managers
Yep.
love players that they know they're going to get. They know
And could
he
trust.
asked him to do something, he's going to do it. And what Davidi's going to do, he's going to get the ball, he's going to move it. He's not afraid to try and go past someone and have a shot. But one thing he's going to do is going to run and run and run. And when a team like West Ham, who are pushing for a winner, and we need to get up the pitch, you need someone with fresh legs who's
Yeah.
gonna their left back's gonna get it. He's gonna sprint 20, 30 yards. If Munoz has got someone running at him, he's gonna run back and he's gonna help Munoz. So yeah, 6.5 for me. Nothing stand out, but the fact that he's showing real maturity when he comes on, it's great to see. And it's a squad player come out of nowhere that sometimes you might have to pay 7, 8, 9 million for.
That's a great point. I want to add to that, right? And what I like is that you're right. We save the money, and also it shows players in the academy. Guess what? That could be you next year or even this season. And guess what? If you come on, you could do the job. Not only will you get some minutes, but also we'll give you a new contract. So I think that mindset for me is fantastic. I love that. The next two subs, basically, Klein on helped us. Really nothing to speak about, and then Schlupp the same. So last one we'll get to is our manager. 10 from me, 10 from you. I'll put the quote up from Bobby Manzi that Glazer mentioned yesterday, but I just want to say first before we do that, again, set us up perfectly in our system 3-4-2-1. Starting Kamada, people were worried, did a great job, made the adjustments, speaks very well, outthought Potter. I just thought again yesterday, and what is that? 11 goals conceded. So yesterday's a clean sheet, a great away record, up to 12th place. There's nothing I can say negative about the manager. And everybody knows you and I are big fans, but just brilliant yesterday. What are your thoughts on Glass? I'll pop up the quote also, by the way.
Just the fact that before the game, he breaks down these managers and the tactics. He's like, I know what you're going to do. I know how you're going to play. And I can stop you. His post-match comments were really good. I wanted to put this one out because I did say that the only way I would be disappointed and say negative things maybe about the club is when the manager said it.
Yeah.
And I was one who said these transfers do take time because I'm not an expert and I don't have an expectation that as soon as the window opens, there's going to be a player come straight through the door. But obviously, he's come out and said if he's been a little bit critical, it took too long to get the transfer done. So, listen, that's a warning sign. It's a warning sign to our board. Stop messing this guy about. He is a serious, serious manager. Me and Pat spoke about it. This guy could go in at any top European club or any club that is on that maybe Champions League, but don't really get too far. I'm talking like the Dortmunds, the Leverkusens, PSGs, all these clubs, RB Leipzig, all these teams, even we're talking about Milan clubs, Inter, AC, Napoli, Juve, these teams would all thrive under Glasner. He's obviously, he said to me, Glasner probably loves the competition of the Premier League, going against top managers every week, having to change.
Right.
So that is a warning from the club, and it's also I'm gonna back him and say, listen, get these signings. None of this. We're gonna bid for Juve in a couple of days. Get it done. He wants it. Probably wants it before Brentford. Get it done. Let him get his players, and let's push this second half of the season, and then give him $100,000 a week. Give him what he wants. Give him a mansion in Surrey. Just give him anything he wants. Parish, relinquish your yacht. Give it to Glasner. Everything for this manager.
I agree. Well, that's it for Lou and I for the play ratings. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Again, please remember to like and subscribe. We'll have plenty of content coming up for the upcoming Brentford game. But again, Lou, great job today. Thanks for jumping on. And till next time, up the Palace.